Welcome back. We are in conversation with Professor Satinder Dhiman, President ICSI, International Chamber for Service Industry, and also Professor of Management from the Woodbury University, Burbank, California, USA. Professor Saab, hearty welcome once again. Such a pleasure to have you with us in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are into the last episode of this particular series which we have developed, how to empower educators, how to empower teachers, how to empower trainers, how to empower counselors, how to empower everybody whosoever is directly or indirectly dealing with the students, with the youth, with the education system. Today, Professor Saab, I wish to request you, let's sum up and let's take up this entire series into millennial, the youth, what we have got, those are after, 1980s and 1990s, those have come. Their expectations, their perceptions, their job hoppings, and whatsoever you want to talk about. Today, let's talk about these youth, the millennial youth, and how their management should take place, particularly when the educators are dealing with these youth.
Sure. Most of the millennials will be relevant in terms of education in the higher education arena.
Yes.
Because as you said that
Yes.
these are the people who are born in 80s and 90s. So this millennial psychology is very important to understand from the standpoint of educators and also from the standpoint of teachers. At the same time, when we talk about higher education or graduate education, they will be relevant as the students also. Millennials have certain characteristics which kind of make them apart, which put them apart from what we call Generation X or what we call Generation Z or Z. But the beauty of millennials is that, first of all, they are very technology savvy. They are very tech savvy people. They crave attention. That's why the social media is becoming very popular, because it also feeds on that. I know when you get those likes on Facebook, it feeds your esteem, self-esteem. So they crave attention. They also crave feedback. Why Facebook is very successful? Because it gives you immediate feedback. People comment on it, people like it, so on and so forth. Right? And there's a string of conversation continues after that. They also are into job hopping. There was a time then, if you start a particular job,
you will retire from there only.
They say that on average, a person in the modern times will be changing 6 or 7 jobs.
Yes, in one lifetime.
In one lifetime.
Yes.
Now, they are prone to job hopping. They also do not like hierarchy. Which was a part of when we were growing up.
Yes.
Hierarchy was part of our life. It was acceptable.
Yes.
It was respected, but not so with the millennials. So millennials are those people who are born during 1980s and 90s, and they have certain psychological makeup which need to be understood. Because if we are going to have millennials who are our teachers, and millennials who are graduate students, then we need to understand their psychology.
Yeah, they need instant results also.
The feedback is they want immediate. The word instant coffee.
Yeah,
everything is instant for them. Instant gratification.
Yes.
They do not know how to delay their gratification. But then they also have certain. They are a little bit more attached to the family. They have better family values as compared to previous generation. So there are certain characteristics that an educator has to be aware of.
Okay.
Understanding these characteristics, see, in sales they say that if you want to sell whatever you want to sell, you have to know your customer. Similarly, we have not used this word customer in the context of education.
Yes.
I remember there was a revolution, early on, started by Dr. Deming, total quality management. In total quality management, every person is treated as a customer. So in that context, student can also be treated as a customer. But in total quality management, student is not only treated as a customer, but student is also treated as in the chain of student, you have within an organization. For example, when you require some information report from registrar or your admission people, then you are their customer, they are the supplier.
Okay.
Right? When a teacher is asking for a paper from a student, then the teacher is a customer, student is a supplier. Right? So this supplier customer chain continues. So this is the beauty of understanding millennials, that after we know that these are the characteristics of these people, we can serve them better. The idea is to know them better so that we can serve them better in our education situation.
Okay. Today being the last episode of this particular series, which we developed on basically when there's a revolutionizing, the education system is going on, and when we are trying to empower our teachers, our educators, our trainers at the school level as well as at the higher education level, both the levels and all. What message would you like to give to teachers as a final finale, the closing when the curtains are going to be down?
I don't think that anything. I remember a great author, Thomas Merton, in his autobiography, Seven Story Mountain, he finishes with a Latin phrase, which in English means, let this be the end of the book, but not the end of learning. So this may be the end of this series, but it is not the end of the learning. But I would like to say, I would like to re-emphasize what we started the series with, that it is based on three things. Teachers do three things, or educators. One, they do self-study, then they do research, and then they teach. For their own study, that's where the content is going to come. Through their research, they are going to keep the content always refreshed. And through teaching, they are going to, teaching is called twice learning. First you learn and then you teach, then you also learn. So I think the message is that do a good job of content management, do a good job of research, and then do a good job of sharing. Teaching is nothing more than sharing. It is sharing your excitement, enthusiasm about the subject with students. And it is also about empowering the student. We are not only talking about empowering the teacher. However, in order to empower students, you first have to be empowered as a teacher. I personally believe, Dr. Saab, that there are no unmotivating students. There are no students which lack motivation. There are only teachers who are uninspiring. So if you have inspiring teacher, there will be motivating student. The whole equation is covered.
The whole system can change.
Yes.
And you also believe the series which we developed, that empower education and transform India?
Yes.
Okay.
No, see, it is not that just transform India. I'm saying that when we transform education, when we empower teacher, we empower education everywhere and anywhere, whether it is Finland, USA, Europe or India or Singapore. Everywhere, the key to change is changing the education system, and the key to changing the education system is to empower the teacher.
Okay. And you also feel somewhere in this summing up that every nation, of course, for that matter, India also, when we give the illustrations, when we give the quotes, when we give the examples, when we give the illustrations, when we give the pictorials, we should have more utilization of your own mythology, your own epics, and your own great leaders.
Yes, I think that
instead of just quoting outsiders.
Right. It's not just a question of outsiders. The idea is that every theory, every concept has certain context in which it is developed. The metaphors are different, symbols are different. All great leaders, you might have seen a great movie, English movie, Braveheart. In that, the person who is playing the role, he is using certain symbols which are very appropriate for the culture. Gandhi did the same thing. He used certain cultural symbols. That charkha, it's a great cultural symbol. It united the entire nation. Not that everybody started using charkha. The idea of a symbol is not that everybody will start using that symbol. The idea is that when you use a culturally known symbol within a particular context, it creates resonance.
Okay.
And resonance is very important to bring about change. That's why, very rightly, as you have put it, in order for any change process to take place, it has to be embedded and it has to be culturally rich, embedded in the culturally rich symbols. And hence, that's why you might have seen I've used Urdu poetry. I have used Sanskrit shlokas.
Yes.
I have drawn from Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata,
yes.
Ramayana,
yes.
and Eastern as well as Western scholars.
Yes.
You know, having said that, we should not forget the Rig Veda, very important verse. Let knowledge come to us from all directions.
Excellent.
East and West.
Superb, Professor Saab. Superb.
Thank you.
Par excellence. Thank you very much, viewers. It was such a pleasure to have this particular series being developed on empowering education and transforming India. And I'm pretty sure that all the teachers, all the educators, and all the trainers, and all the counselors, wherever they are, of course in India, in Asia, globally, they would enjoy this particular series with Professor Satinder Dhiman, where he has built up the entire the system, and he has given us different approaches, he has given us different permutation combinations, and he has also made a mention somewhere that education is the root and education is the main base where from any nation development takes place.
Right. To reiterate the same metaphor of roots and wings.
Roots and wings. Thank you very much, Professor Saab. Thank you very much, viewers. Thanks for your wonderful patience. Enjoy this particular series. We will be back with you with our next series soon. Subscribe us on the channel youtube.com/GS Motivator. Also, like us, follow us, comment on the Facebook, on the Twitter, as well as on Instagram. Thank you very much. Thanks for your valuable time. Thank you. Thank you.